Is the total crypto market cap, Bitcoin, and everything else losing support? And is everything going to continue lower and lower? So let's take a look. This is the total crypto market cap on the weekly chart, and this is the Gann square on linear scale. And this is the Ichimoku cloud. And well, on the weekly chart, yes, the total crypto market cap and Bitcoin and some others are losing their weekly support. And we can clearly see that right here with the Ichimoku. The baseline was lost last week, right here. And you can see when we traced back in time, we have not closed a weekly candle below it since about October 2023. So this is the first time price has ever closed a weekly candle below it. And now it just went back up to the baseline, got rejected, and now we're below it. So this is resistance now, right? On the weekly chart, this is resistance for a possible continuation lower. But when we put on the monthly chart, will it go lower? Let's see. We can see that it just nailed the conversion line, wicked through it on the monthly chart perfectly, and then bounced, right? And when we look at the monthly chart, it just looks like one kind of giant bullish flag right there, a bull flag. And we can see the market symmetry is pretty perfect with this orange level being resistance, almost hitting it again. And after losing this 45-degree angle as support, it is going lower and lower. So will price go back to touch the top of the cloud, or will price continue higher? Well, everything that we see on this Ichimoku is 100% bullish on the monthly chart, right? It's above the cloud's green in the future, and it's above all the indicators within the Ichimoku. So could this level be the bottom? It's definitely possible, but we also know on the weekly chart going back there that this is resistance too, right? The 2.088 trillion, that is resistance right now for the total crypto market cap. So we know where support is down here in the 2 trillion, like maybe 1.9 something trillion. But we know our resistance is, so it's in a very tight range. And which one's going to win? Is it going to be the monthly chart that wins for support, or is it going to be the weekly chart that wins for resistance? Only time will tell, but usually the higher the time frame, the better the support. So we could just be stuck in a very tight range for a while until price drifts closer and closer to this cloud, maybe in September of 2024 until price finally breaks higher. And this is getting closer towards that election time as well, right? So maybe price will just do nothing for a few months during the summer and just wait until fall until price has a decision which way it wants to go, right? So it's just a waiting game really right now. So we see weekly chart resistance, monthly chart support, and we can see something similar to that with Bitcoin. See, with Bitcoin, it also closed the week below the uh, baseline. And you can go back in time. The last time that happened was basically the same time, October of 2023. That was the last time it closed below the baseline. So this is very similar to the total crypto market cap, except that right now it's trying to battle back above the baseline to see if it can close the week back above, to then battle this 61,300 level, which I mentioned in my last video. That's very important, because what we don't want to see is it to come back up here to 61,300 or a little bit above to the 62,700 to that conversion line and then continue lower. We don't want to see that, right? Because that would most likely mean a rejection and then possibly come back down to test this angle and possibly the cloud around the same time in August or September or so. But if we can break through that resistance and just continue higher and higher, then that'll be a good thing. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it's also similar to the total crypto market cap, where it's trying to battle, or it already lost the baseline as support. But on the monthly chart, it just nailed that conversion line as support, right? So it's another battle between, is this monthly chart going to win, or is the weekly chart resistance going to win and then come down and test this orange angle over time, right? Only time will tell, but it's looking like so far this conversion line on the monthly chart is holding that support for a possible consolidation range before it eventually, over time, breaks out higher. And next we have Solana, and it's looking similar to the total crypto market cap, and it's looking similar to Bitcoin, where it lost the baseline as support as well. But that happened maybe back in mid-June when it lost that. And the last time that really happened was the same time in October of 2023. So it's a similar situation where this previous support of the baseline of the Ichimoku was a support, but now it's a resistance. And not only that, this 45-degree angle right here was also a resistance, but then it flipped it to support. But then it got rejected by this arc, and now this 45-degree angle is once again resistance with the confluence of the baseline right here. So price could come back up to the 145, 146, maybe even up to the 150s again, but possibly could get rejected to roll over. And it looks like on this chart that if that did happen, this could roll over back down to the top of the cloud after retesting the 45. And the top of the cloud does sit in the 80s down there, so that could be a ways to fall, right? So this is looking like it's losing its support, it's flipping it to resistance, and it's going to head lower, right? But when we put on the monthly chart, we can see it did the exact same thing as the total crypto market cap, and it did the same thing as Bitcoin, where it just wicked down to the conversion line and held it as support. So it's another one of those. Is the monthly chart support going to hold, or is the weekly chart resistance going to overpower it to continue lower and lower, right? But since they all look very similar, I'm going to have to go with you want to buy support until proven otherwise, right? And currently the support is the conversion line of the Ichimoku on the monthly chart. So regardless of the weekly resistance, it could only mean that probably just more time needs to pass before everything gets exhausted for a final push higher and higher. So these are the charts that look like they're flipping to resistance, but on the monthly chart, they're at support. But now I just want to show you like XRP is basically the exact opposite of this. So there are some coins like XRP that are essentially, they lost support a long time ago. And now they are keep getting rejected by the conversion line to push lower on the weekly chart. So not only are they at resistance on the weekly chart, when you look at the monthly chart, they are below all the levels as well, right? So the monthly chart doesn't offer any support at all for XRP or like some other coins similar to this, right? So how can we determine where the support is? Well, for this kind of chart, we can look, we can zoom out a little bit. We can just see how important that Ichimoku cloud was in the past, right? We can see that this top of the cloud back here in April of 2021 was exactly resistance for a continuation lower and lower. And now it can't really break back above the conversion line. It tried a little bit, but it can't, right? So this is still a bearish chart on the Ichimoku on the monthly chart. So it's the exact opposite of Bitcoin, the total crypto cap, and Solana, and some other coins, right? And many coins within the altcoins, they look like this, right? They are below the monthly support of the Ichimoku, and they're below the weekly support of the Ichimoku. So they look pretty bearish, like a continuation lower. But this is where GAN comes in handy, and let me show you that. So this is the GAN pulled up on linear scale for XRP, and we can see how symmetrical it has been. See, back in the early days in 2018, it hit the blue level, right? Just went right past the orange and then crashed. And then back here in 2021, it went to the orange level and got rejected. Never broke above, and then it crashed again. So we saw with the Ichimoku on the weekly and monthly chart that it's at resistance and trending down. So where is the bottom? Well, the bottom looks like it could be here, right? We zoom in and it's holding that gray angle, which over time we can see this gray angle where it was support, resistance, support. Even though it went below a little bit, that still held as support. And now we're there again, right? It's there again for a possible continuation higher and higher. Back to the orange angle, which would be at 58. And what else sits around 58 cents or 59 cents? Well, that's right. It's the 200-week moving average right up here around 59.4, right? So there's a lot of confluence that this is going to be another major resistance level. Well, it already has been, right? Which is that orange angle. So when we take this back off, we can see that orange angle, how important that has been as well. Like resistance, 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 and resistance, resistance. It was always resistance, basically. Just right here, it was support a little bit back here in 2021 in March. So this could be the bottom, right? So regardless of the Ichimoku, we can see with GAN that this could be the bottom. And even if we go to the GAN on log scale, I'll show you even more confluence. And this is the GAN on log scale here, and we can see that this orange level has been the utmost importance since 2017, where it was a resistance level here, and then support basically here, then resistance, 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 and now ever since 2020, it's been support, right? Support here, here, and now where do we see price? Well, it's stuck in between these arcs. As you can see, they have been very important all the way down. Especially the top arc was resistance, right? And now the bottom arc is trying to be a support. And sure enough, after these two attempts of resistance right here, it is essentially back at support. More confluence, right? It did close the week a little bit below it, but it's done it before, right? It's done it before here, here. It's just a zone, right? And this essentially is just gravitating. It's like a magnet for price. So it's not probably going to go lower to this level simply because this arc will act as a magnet for price. And what I'm really looking for XRP is to finally break above this top arc for a continuation higher up into the blue arcs. Eventually, who knows when that'll be, 2025, 2026, or beyond, right? But it could be around like an $8 XRP or even maybe a $6 or $5 XRP, depending on time. So yeah, like even though the weekly and the monthly charts look bearish, you can see when you use GAN that everything is perfectly symmetrical and it's doing everything as it should according to price and time. And one day, when it breaks above this arc, that will be the time when XRP is ready to fly. And who knows when that'll be, but based off this chart, it could be from anywhere from now or maybe possibly where the top arc and the 45-degree angle meet right here in March of 2026, right? We don't know when that's going to happen, but essentially price is gravitating to this 45-degree angle, and eventually that will get hit over time. We don't know when, but when this arc does get flipped, it'll go. So a lot of coins, they look like Bitcoin and Total and Solana, but the majority of the altcoins, they look like XRP, where they're bearish on the Ichimoku, but they're bullish and they're at support on the GAN square.